Sip, what's going on? Thank y'all for coming back to Sip, Smoke, and Share. If this is your first time here, if you like any of this content or my stories or whatever, this is just a glimpse into my life. So we're going to talk about these pimp player pastors, given the nonsense that's going on over at Macedonia Worship Center here in Houston, Texas. Now, if you don't know, or if you've been under a rock or been in a cave for the last week, you don't know what's going on with Macedonia Church. Well, Mahogany was embarrassed doing worship service by the co-pastor, the woman pastor. And so I just wanted to talk to you about a little situation that I had, me and my ex-wife had at one of these churches, you know, with the pimp player pastor thinking they gonna pimp on us, play on us. You understand what I'm saying? So we were at a leadership meeting. I was one of the elders. I was one of the leading elders at the church, and my ex-wife was the right hand to the first lady. She took notes. She did, you know, she made calls and did stuff, but she had a full-time job. So we went in the leadership meeting. I think it was about 7 people in there. We had the person that does the praise. We had the person that does the finances. We had me speaking for the elders and the deacons. We had somebody in there for the mature ministry. We had one of the kids representatives in there, and I think it was one other person, plus my ex-wife so it was like 8 of us, 7 to 8 of us in there. And so we got to talking, and she was like, well, you know, we had talked about the meeting, and she had gone on and said whatever she had said, and she was like, well, can I get these notes tomorrow morning? And my ex-wife was like, no, I'll give them to you Thursday at Bible study, you know. And she went on, well, why you can't give them to me? Why you? And my ex-wife was like, well, because I have a real job, and I have stuff I need to do today. I you know, go and get my nails done, go run around and do some other stuff. I'm not finna spend all day doing this. Not gonna do it. So then she took offense to the word real job. And she said, what are you trying to say? I have a real job. Being a pastor is a real job. And everybody was looking at her like, so my ex-wife was like, well, can I be real with you? Yeah, you know, we friends, girl, you can be real with me. And she was like, are you sure? Yeah, we can be real. So she said, well, to be honest with you, she said, I got stuff I got to do Saturday, and I'll type these notes sometime this week, maybe Sunday night, or, you know, and because I don't stay at home every day. You understand what I'm saying? I got to get up and go to my job. Then when I come home, I have to deal with my son. Not saying that you don't have kids, but I have stuff I have to do every day. Now, if you want to stay in the bed and be sick or whatever you want to do, you can do that. So the woman pastor took offense to that. You understand what I'm saying? The woman pimp player pastor took offense to that and got in her, oh my God, is that the way you really feel? That this is not, you know, pastoring is a real job. It's a real full-time job. I'm in the ministry, I'm up praying, you know, all the old stuff, you know, to justify, you know, what was said and to change everybody's opinion of what was said and what was going on. So then they got into a little back and forth, and, you know, it wasn't anything disrespectful. You know, it was just, she was just telling her what she thought. So then she opened the floor and she was like, oh my God, I don't believe that. What does anybody else feel like, you know, you or like I'm doing this and I'm doing this? And she was, you know, she was just going on her little soapbox. And so people started speaking up and saying, well, you do, because what I said was, so I was like, yeah, I think what happens is that you need to find something to do, basically, because you're trying to micromanage everybody here. in our positions, people that try to micromanage you. And so what she was doing is that her micromanaging with me, I was over the prison ministry, right? And so how she micromanaged me is that she wanted me to email her. Now it's three people, three of us on this ministry. And she wanted me to email her when I emailed them. And I'm telling her, I ain't doing that. I'm not doing that. These 3 volunteers. You understand, on my real job, I manage $20 million worth of stuff. I'm not emailing you or copying you on the email because these guys get in their feelings. You're not going to micromanage me like that. I manage $20 million worth of work, with 100 guys on site. I'm not emailing you. So everybody else went around and said, well, oh, you do this and I can handle it. The accountant had something to say and was like, well, I manage this amount of money and just basically she wanted her hands in everything. She was a control freak, right? And so her being a control freak and everybody having something to say, you know how that thing goes around. People feel like they're in a safe place and we can say what we want to say. So now everybody's going to say stuff that they may have not normally said to her, given her position and given her demeanor and the way that she acts. So she was like, oh my God, I'm going to call Pastor and tell him how y'all feel. Y'all hurt my feelings. So she called the pastor. She was like, I think, well, if that's what y'all think, I just think I should go and maybe, she was a butthurt, big butthurt. She was so butthurt, her thing was, because she had brought a fruit tray and some other stuff, drinks and stuff, some granola bars and some other stuff for the meeting. So she started gathering her little fruit tray. And so she called the pastor, the male pastor, put him on speakerphone. And his thing was, she told him what we had said and the consensus of the room. And his thing was, hey, if that's the way they feel, that's the way they feel. But it ain't about feelings right now. We have work to do in the community. So suck it up and do the work in the community. This ain't about us. So she was like, okay. So she hung up the phone. Then some more stuff was said. She's still in her feelings now, not listening to the head. So then she had, said some stuff to my ex-wife, and my ex-wife was like, listen, I asked you, I know you. We're supposed to be friends. Now, if I can't tell you how I feel and you not get in your feelings, then, maybe I'll excuse myself because maybe I'm the problem. Trying to be cordial. My ex-wife was like, because I got shit to do anyway. So my ex-wife was like, hey, here, So she was like, no, you don't have to leave. I'm going to leave. My ex-wife was like, no, I'm going to leave. So I said, well, come on, baby, let me walk you to the car. So then this is where the shit just gets crazy. So then I stood up to walk my ex-wife out. She was like, here, but I'm going to leave you the notes that I took so far. I'm going to leave you the notes that I took so far. And she was like, if you get up and walk out of this room, you're going to forfeit your position. And I'm looking at her, I say, who are you talking to? It's whatever, because I'm getting ready to walk my wife to her car. Then I got up, took her to her car, said, hey, call me when you get your nails done, woo, woo, woo. So when I go back in there, things get, they're getting heated. So my ex-wife was like, well, let me come back in there. Let me just ride this thing out. Because, how they do things. I don't want them to say, well. So we went back in there. We sat down. So nothing changed. She kept asking people questions about what they said. And people doubled down on, yep, you do this, you do that. So she got so upset. She was trying to drum up some fake tears. So then she gathered her fruit tray. She left the fruit tray. Well, I'm going to leave the fruit tray. And then she left. Now, she took the fruit tray and she left. Took the fruit tray and the drinks and she left. So while we were sitting there, we was all like, this is really crazy. You know, everybody was talking amongst themselves. We like, oh, this shit is really crazy. So the next day, or it's Saturday, right? So then we at home. It's later that night. I don't know what we did. We had dinner or whatever. May have gone somewhere, but we laying in the bed, you know. And so my ex-wife was like, I'm not going to church tomorrow. And I'm like, why? She said, well, you know how the dog and pony show goes. She's going to be upset, and I don't want to see her. Because she's still going to be in her feelings, and I don't want to, you know, do something. You understand what I'm saying? So I was like, okay. So then the next day I go to church. My ex-wife there. Now we sit right next to the pulpit in the first seat. So I do my prayer, open up the service, do my thing. And so and normally what we'll do, I'm sorry, I'm driving. So normally what we do is after we take the offering, you know, I'll take the basket and we'll shake hands. Brother ain't shake my hand. I'm like, so then, you know, when service is closing out, she stands up. You know, the feeling is off, the mood is off. I can feel that the energy is off. So as they closing, she stood up and she said, we need to pray, church, as a church. We need to pray. So my ex-wife is not there. So we need to pray, church. And everybody's looking like, I already see the bullshit coming. So we need to pray. I already know what this is. So she was like, yeah, we need to pray because we had a meeting yesterday with the leadership, and I couldn't sleep all night because of the level of disrespect that was shown in the meeting. And I'm like, here comes the bullshit. We need to pray. So normally, you know, sometimes after church, 3 out of 4 times a week, we would go to eat. You know, our families would go to eat, right? So after church, they don't take the money, you know, the offering. They don't take, because normally they'll take the money and put it in the bank bag. They'll put it in the bank bag, and then they'll take the money to the bank. So they just get up and leave. They just get up and leave, just straight leave, right? And so everybody's looking like, you know, we all hang around and talk. So after that, everybody's looking like, damn, what's going on? And it's like, oh, okay. So they just take the money and leave. I mean, they don't take the money, they leave. They leave it with the accountant. So then when I get home, you know, me and my son, my godson, we go home. So then when I get home, I'm telling my ex-wife what's going on. And now, you know, she already knew. That's why she said she didn't want to go. So then we get to talking. So that night, she's troubled by it. And she can't sleep. So I call this pastor, you know, call him. Normally we talk all the time. So I call him, he not calling back. Call him, he not calling back. This went on for 2 days. Now I would talk to him probably twice a day. Maybe 3 times a day. I call this joker for 2 days, he don't answer. So the Wednesday before Bible study is on Thursday. So I call him on Wednesday and say, hey, he finally called back and I'm like, hey, my ex-wife, you know, I need to talk to you about our wives have an issue and we need to get this resolved. And he's like, yeah, okay, but I'm gonna have to pray about it, you know, because I'm writing the book, so I'm praying. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm praying, you know, real short. I could tell his energy was off, but he's like real short. Oh, I'm writing the book and I'm just waiting to hear from God. I'm like, all right, fuck him. I'm not calling you no more. So I'm like, God was calling you when I called you the first time to get this shit resolved. Didn't say shit. Went on for about, the energy was off. Energy was off. For about 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, the energy was off. And so we never talked about it. So come one day, we stopped going to lunch after church. Then after about 2 or 3 weeks, my wife went and talked to her, right? And so they kind of, you know, my wife apologized just to make things right, even though I don't think she was right. She don't, just to, you know, to make the energy go away, the negative energy, because obviously they're not going to say, oh, I was wrong. So, okay. So it's September. Now it's October. Don't say nothing. He don't bring it up. Maybe about a month and a half goes by after shit is like fucked up, and it's like almost November. So then I'm at work and he's calling, but I'm telling his brother, you know, I done already made up in my mind, like, if this motherfucker, if they don't address this shit, fuck this church. January 1, I'm going somewhere else. I'm gonna go to church with my daddy. So I talked to his brother. So one day, his brother at church, after church, stuff had gotten, I was like, I ain't going with them, fuck them. Right? So then this is like right October, about this same time. So I'm telling his brother, man, nah, your brother on some bullshit. Him and that lady, they on some bullshit. Fuck them. So then he calls me one day while I'm at work and we're doing a proposal. I think this project was like $50, $60 million, $40 million, whatever. Some shit for NASA. So I don't answer the phone because my vice president, everybody's in what they call a war room. My senior vice president is there. My vice president, you know, he came from Dallas to help. So he's there, my senior vice president, my vice president, my director, you know, everybody's there helping, and we're trying to get this number in before 2 o'clock. You know, for this bid, I believe we were doing something for Johnson Space Center. So then he talks about the shit. So I call him back afterwards. He don't answer. So then Sunday, they going on with this bullshit. We got some negative energy in the house, and you know, and they hitting around. They not saying it, but I had already told his brother, man, if they don't address this shit, I'm out of here. So then it goes on. He don't say nothing. They bring it up. Stuff is cool. We don't go to lunch with them no more. We don't go to lunch after church. Now it's November. Normally we go over their house at Thanksgiving. We don't go over their house at Thanksgiving. We go somewhere else. Never brought it up, never addressed it. So then one Sunday, now mind you, every Sunday morning, the leaders of the church, the elders, the deacons, and the male pastor would come, make sure the church was straight, and then we'll walk and pray around the church grounds. 6 o'clock in the morning. So then he texts me one day. So one day before I made up my mind to go, they text me, you know, and he says on the text message, but he didn't text me by himself. He texts the leadership group text. So we got the other 3 elders. We have the other 3 elders. We just basically got the whole lead. You know, it's like 9 people on this text. So I text back. He said, well, we don't think it's, or what we think is that if we're going to pray this morning, we think that you and your wife need to come so everybody can join hands and we can pray and we can get rid of this spirit that's been lingering. Now we are spirit, me and my ex-wife. Now they are addressing us as spirit. So, you know, because they don't want to say nothing, you know. So now they calling us. So I'm like, so they text me at like 5 o'clock. Then they text me and say, no, you don't have to bring your ex-wife. So now the shit is confusing. So what I'm thinking in my head is that, no, I'm not doing that. Y'all not finna just play with me like this. You understand what I'm saying? So then, I don't go. My ex-wife suggests I don't go. Because you know how people are, and they're going to try to show out for the pastor because there are several other people that wanted my position, thinking that, you know, like always, motherfuckers don't see what you're doing. They see the shine as they, or whatever they think they see, but they don't see the work. So I don't go. So then the next week, we get a text, I don't go to Bible study. Or I go to Bible study that Thursday and it's off. So then the next week they text that Saturday with some nonsense. So I'm like, all right, cool. So this is the straw that broke the camel's back. So they playing on the phone, oh, we still need to pray. We need to get y'all both in the room and we need to talk to y'all because I forget what the word they use. But basically, I had already made up my mind I was leaving. But they texting on the phone and saying all of this stuff. And if y'all don't do it, y'all could forfeit y'all membership and woo. So I was like, all right, fuck it. Since that's a game we gonna play. So I text like 3 paragraphs. And I text them and basically say, listen, I ain't no puppet. I ain't no monkey. I don't know whose circus you think this is, but I'm not gonna participate in it. If you want somebody to jump, y'all can have this shit. But know that I think it's fucked up that you wouldn't talk to me, you know, when I tried to call you and handle this like a man. But you would rather hide behind God. And like I told you, the first time I called you that night that it happened, that was God, the God in me wanting to speak to the God in you. And so the only reason I didn't disrespect your wife when she told me to sit down and raised her voice at me was because of my respect for you, because I should have knocked that motherfucker's head off when she talked crazy. No, you sit down. And I didn't go off because of him. My love and respect for him at the time. That's why. So I put that in the text. I also put some other stuff in the text that I was privy to, you know, that nobody else had privy to. That when his ex-wife was going to the massage place and getting that little monkey rubbed on by the massage therapist. And he called me every morning for about a week and a half, damn near 2 weeks, would call my phone because he worked overnight, call my phone crying like a little bitch because the nigga done finger fucked your wife. You understand? So I put all that in the text message, telling him like, nah, bruh, show me the same goddamn respect I showed you. So when a nigga was finger fucking your wife and you wanted to hurt him, you called my phone and I would answer the phone at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning to talk you off the cliff. But now that my wife got a problem, you don't want to answer the phone. And your wife was the one that created the problem. So I put all that in the text message and told him that if I come to that goddamn church, you know what kind of Negro, what kind of ninja I am. So if I come to that church and there's some nonsense, we gonna move some pews, some furniture, whatever. You understand me? So I can understand, because these pimp player pastors be on that bullshit, and they think they could just throw God in the mix every time they want to get you to react a certain way. But I'm not like that. I think for myself. You understand? So, you know, and trying to make people feel bad because they don't come to church to do certain things. Nah. I'm a man just like you. You not gonna disrespect me. Your ex-wife not gonna disrespect me. And your wife not gonna. I don't give a damn if you do call her pastor. She ain't special to me. She's special to you and her parents and her kids. She don't mean shit to me no more. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the way I feel, and I feel this nonsense that's going on with mahogany. So y'all stay careful. Y'all watch out for these pimp player pastors, man, because they'll play you like a sucker if you let them. Sip, sip.